Well, Jacob Fatu officially kills Roman Reigns, and is Asuka done? I don't know, but let's get into it. Welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, Monday Night Raw edition from May the 11th, 2026, the year of our TKO. I'm your host, Mike, joined by Mr. What the hell does that say? Sutter? Can't, I hate you. Sean. And we're gonna break it all down. So what do you think there, Sean? How did we like that closing segment with Roman and Jacob?
I love this with Jacob. I really do. But I'm very concerned that. So, let me preface this by I took some time to think about this between last night and today. And I'm very concerned that if Jacob isn't the one to take the belt off Roman, all of this is going to be for naught. And that it will seriously hurt all the work, the character work they're doing with him if he is not the one to win the belt from Roman. And I think that would be 100% an absolute missed opportunity for WWE. Like the fans are behind the character. You could tell it's not pumped in crowd noise. Like if you look at the crowd and how they're reacting to him, like when he took out Roman there at the end, and that was genuine reaction from the crowd and people cheering for him and all breaks, no gassing along with him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you're definitely right about the crowd reaction, right? And I do feel like it would be a missed opportunity if he doesn't end up beating him. I do think they're gonna wait a while, right? Like we're definitely not gonna do it at the Saturday night's main event. And then the Clash in Italy match is gonna be Cody and Gunther. So either we do this at Night of Champions, but if Roman's not going to Saudi Arabia, then you do this at SummerSlam. Because there's not a July show, is there? Like there might be a Saturday night's main event in there, but SummerSlam is the first weekend in August, so there might not be a July show at all if the Clash of Champions is at the end of June. So you might get like a 4 to 5 week build, and I think SummerSlam would be the perfect opportunity to do it. It's a big show, right? Like, and I think that should be your match there then, if that's the case.
I'm looking that up right now because I'm actually curious if there is a July.
I know the next show is a Saturday night's main event in like 2 weeks. And then after that is Clash in Italy. And then after that is
It's
Night of Champions.
it'll be another Saturday night's main event from Madison Square Garden on July 18th.
That probably won't do it there.
No, it's so I feel like they have two opportunities to do this. One is add it and do a double championship thing in Italy, which I could see them doing because it is their first time in Italy with one of these, and I think that that would be not a terrible idea. But if they can extend this to SummerSlam, I think that would make this even better. You have Jacob take out, with whatever happened here, you have this continue. You have Jacob take out Roman for the entire month of June, put him on the shelf. Then when he comes back in July, you start the build to SummerSlam.
It's not happening in Clash in Italy. They're not going to put two title matches on that show. They're going to do one, and that'll be Cody and Gunther. They won't have two title matches on that show. There's no way. You know how Triple H is with his 5 match cards, like
Yeah,
which which is something
the
I do want to get into at some point when, we have a little bit more time to like talk about all this stuff because I'm getting really tired of these 5 match cards, especially if you're going to start putting some free stuff on like regular TV. These cards need to be a bit more beefed up. Like it's not going to kill you to do 7 matches. Like Vince McMahon's not going to like come to your door and slap you on the wrist if you do 7 matches, Triple H. Like I mean, let's calm down a little bit here.
yeah.
But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I agree with you though. I think Jacob definitely needs to be the one to do it. And you can do some stuff with him and the Usos in the interim if you want to do a match with him and Jay at a Saturday night's main event or even at a Clash of Champions or a Night of Champions or something like that. You could absolutely do that.
Yeah. I think that I think that that's the better way. You have Jacob work his way through the Usos. You have him maybe go through Jimmy first, and then have Jacob versus Jay at the Saturday Night's main event, and
Hmm.
then you get to Jacob versus Roman at SummerSlam, and that's where you coronate Jacob as the Umaga of the current bloodline.
Yeah, and it should be like a steel cage type of, match or some kind of no DQ
Yes.
sort of match as well. Like it needs to be a nasty kind of match, I think.
Or have it be a submission match.
Yeah. So the other major story from this show, before we get into like how the show opened and all the matches and everything else, is Asuka and Iyo Sky. So Asuka hugged Iyo Sky backstage, saying that she had been waiting for someone to come along who could take her place. Asuka said that she was happy that it was Iyo who stepped up before ultimately, saying goodbye to Iyo and leaving with her bag. So, what do you make of all this?
I think that they're letting Asuka make her own decision on if she wants to retire or not. From what I understand, most people backstage don't think she's done with WWE. They think that if anything, she might be in a like semi-retired state where she's still going to do stuff with WWE, and I could see that. They're going to probably let her have some time off to get herself back in order and go from there. I think, especially with the way they let her actually have a goodbye, is that's not something you normally see when they've released somebody. So I think this definitely isn't a case of her being released, thankfully. So I think we'll be fine with Asuka. I don't think we've seen the last of her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they've released her. That's like absolutely not a thing in my head anymore. Well, when it was maybe a few days ago, um, and if anything, they would put her in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Like they would absolutely like of a lot of all of the women coming up. I can't think of anyone more deserving, you know, to go in the Hall of Fame. I mean, of women who are about to be done, right? Like I would say Charlotte and Becky, but they're not about to be done yet. But I mean, yeah, Asuka, absolutely. And if Bailey, if there's, I know Reese was mentioning some reports about Bailey. Bailey's another one too. Like she goes in the Hall of Fame immediately. Like, I mean, incredible career for both of them.
I've seen some interesting things about Bailey lately that have me kind of concerned about her run in WWE. That she allegedly her contract goes through the end of 2026, but
Mhm.
apparently she is retained an agent that is pretty cutthroat and is kind of getting ready to play hardball with WWE with and AEW, considering that she's real good friends with Mercedes Money over there. So I'm very curious to see what happens with Bailey's tenure in WWE if we're going to be seeing the end of her coming up.
Certainly possible. I mean, it would be a big time mistake for WWE to let her go, but I mean, they're gonna have to pay her.
Yeah.
And you know what? She deserves it. She, along with Asuka, harried that company through COVID. Harried that company through COVID. Like so, I mean, she deserves every penny she's getting, and it's kind of a shame that we can't seem to use her well. And her last title run after beating Io and everybody else in that group when they kind of like threw her out was like a disaster. It was like one of the worst booked title reigns ever. After an amazing Royal Rumble win and an amazing build to WrestleMania, it was just nothing after that. It was like a couple of rematches with Io and then like a Nia Jax thing, and then that was the end of it. Like it was
Yep.
just a disaster.
Didn't Nia squash her too?
That sounds like something that happened. I don't honestly remember who even took the belt off her, to
I
be
think it was
completely
Nia.
honest with you. To be completely honest with you. I have no idea how like any of that went down. It was a nightmare though.
I also thought it was real interesting that Michael Cole referred to Bailey as a legendary performer at one point last night when he mentioned her. So,
Interesting. So the show opened up with the Vision coming down to the ring. Obviously Roman had like a minor segment, but we already discussed Roman, so we won't get into that anymore. But the Vision came down to the ring. Paul Heyman did his usual spiel, and this caused the Street Profits to come out. They had a nice little back and forth before we got Logan Paul going, kind of bonkers. To which again had Joe Hendry on the guitar doing his Logan Paul song, which is always hilarious. This ultimately broke down and led to a match. And, this was surprisingly saw the Street Profits win, which I thought was interesting. when Angelo Dawkins rolled up Austin Theory after Seth Rollins ran in during the match to take out Bron Breakker to cause the match ending distraction. Rollins shook Dawkins' hand as he kind of pulled him up, and he appeared to pull Dawkins in the way of a Bron Breakker spear while getting himself out of the way, which Montez Ford watched. So I think it's going to kind of further their tension a little bit. But ultimately, this was a fun way to start the show, and it definitely continues to further this feud, which is absolutely not done yet. So, what do you make of all this?
So I don't think it was intentional. I think that's the point of it, is I think Seth is actually trying to admit that he is wrong in some of the things he's done and said. And I think that was a big point of this, because you can sort of see that Dawkins is kind of willing to give Seth a shot since he was there. He shook his hand and all that before the Braun stuff happened. So I think that this is going to tell the story of Seth having to basically win over Montez and show that he's not the selfish prick that everybody thinks he is. But obviously, that's going to be a huge story because he's played that character for a while now. So we have our quasi face Seth Rollins again. And it's one of the things I like about Rollins is that he can do such good character work that he can easily be a face or a heel. And he can walk that line down the middle where he's a face, but he's a tremendous asshole. And I enjoy that about him. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where all of this with the Vision still goes and where Joe Hendry fits into that. Because what happens to him when you have Rollins in the mix again?
Bronson Reed. That's what happens. Bronson
Yeah.
Reed's going to come back eventually, and then you have two 4 versus 4 teams.
Does that lead to, do they keep this going long enough? Is that our war games there?
I feel like it should be, right? Because I don't want it to be another bloodline thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this gets you a ton of new guys in the war games situation, right? Like I am 100% okay with having a bunch of new people. My God, can you imagine Montez Ford in the war games match? And then, and thank God we wouldn't have a Joe Hendry in there. I mean, I know it would be another year of the Vision, but I mean, whatever. Brock Lesnar wouldn't be there. Drew McIntyre wouldn't be there. So it would be other people, right?
Yeah.
So I would be 100% okay with that. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Oh my God, I would love to see Montez Ford in War Games.
Speaking of the Vision as well, so there was the backstage segment where they talked to Logan Paul and Theory as they were getting ready to leave. Did you see who was in the SUV
I mean, I might have missed that.
in the background? Maxine.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a little while with having Theory kind of chat her up a little bit. I've seen it. That's happened a couple of times now. I got to imagine she's going to turn heel. I'm surprised they haven't released her, truthfully. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they turn her heel at some point and she does. She goes after somebody. She takes
I
somebody out.
I think that's a huge opportunity for her to get to work with someone like Heyman. I mean, we've already seen how much she's improved from when she was Maxine Dupree of the modeling service,
Mhm.
and she's honestly the best part of what remains of American Alpha or whatever the hell they're called, Alpha Academy. But I think giving her an opportunity to work with Division and Heyman is something that could definitely put her over the top as far as where she can go in her future career there.
Yeah, yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, like I said, I'm surprised she didn't get released, but I mean, if they can find something to do with her, she's a great talent, and find a way to make it work, WWE. Um, we saw Penta and Ethan Page get into it in the ring next, and Ethan Page was calling for a intercontinental title match at the Saturday night's main event, seeing as how he pinned Penta the previous week. This brought out Rusev and Javon Evans, who all kind of got into a big argument, which ultimately saw Javon Evans defeat Rusev via pinfall after an OG cutter in a absolutely spectacular match. This match was awesome. And I love, love, love that like they are like I mean, I'm fine with Javon Evans winning this, but I love that Rusev is on TV a bunch and he's getting to wrestle. And I would be okay with any one of these guys, including even Penta retaining. I would be okay with any one of these guys becoming the IC champion if and when they do this match with all four of these guys together. 100% okay with it, however you want to book it.
I think that however this goes with all four of these guys, it either needs to end with Penta regaining the belt or Javon Evans being the final one with the belt and you moving Penta on to a higher title. Because I think that is the best possible outcome. I don't know if you put the belt on Ethan Page and Rusev, but at least one of them will win it. And then I think Javon Evans wins it from the heel. And doing it in a four-way match makes it real easy for one of the heels to steal the win. So I wouldn't be surprised if come the Saturday night's main event, we have a fatal four-way for that belt, and you see one of the heels walk away with it.
Oh, I could see Ethan Page like sneak pinning Rusev.
Yeah.
Like, I think that that's absolutely what's going to happen. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm calling that right now based on how Ethan Page is acting around Rusev and being like, oh, yeah, you're the boss, you know? Yeah, Ethan Page is 100% going to slimy pin Rusev to win that belt. And I think it's going to be great.
The only other argument I could say to that being how it ends is Rusev taking out Penta or Javon and then Ethan throwing him out of the ring and stealing the pin.
Yeah,
Is
yes.
the other thing I could see being done. But I
Ethan
think I'm
Page is
gonna
absolutely going to slimy steal the win, though.
yeah, so
However,
I'm gonna
however it
agree with you.
happens. Yeah,
You heard it here first that this channel is calling Ethan Page to somehow skeeve his way into winning the title at
yeah,
the first opportunity he can.
yeah, absolutely. 1,000%. And I think it's totally the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally the right thing to do. So, Um, next we saw Judgment Day attack Nikki Bella and Paige after the women's champs called them out to the ring. They exchanged words before Paige struck Roxanne Perez with the title belt. Liv Morgan ran down to tilt things in the Judgment Day's favor, ultimately beating them down before posing with the title belts. This was a little awkward. Like, this whole thing was kind of a little awkward. Roxanne looked really slow, and Paige also was like just not selling very well when Roxanne was trying to do the pop rocks thing on her to like hit her around, and ultimately had Raquel just boot her in the face like when the whole thing went down. Like, it just, the whole thing seemed kind of awkward. They got to where they needed to get to, which is, the Judgment Day posing with the title belts, but this whole thing was just kind of like a little weird, and I'm already ready to be done with the Brie Bella experiment and moving Paige to singles competition.
So I don't think Roxanne was going for a pop rocks there. I think she was trying to set up that Russian side sweep for the big boot.
Mm,
But I
maybe.
think because she's so short, it sort of threw things off there. And I think that's what made that look as awkward as it did. I think what surprised me the most here was them bringing up Paige's scandals as part of the storyline. Like, that seems kind of like a no-go kind of place for me. So so I'm real surprised that they're utilizing that as part of their storyline here. I don't think Bree and Paige dropped the belts to them as much as I'm ready, like you said, to see Paige get involved in single storylines. I feel like they are gonna have to have at least one PLA win under their belts other than Mania before they drop them. I
I mean,
think
Paige had to
Nikki.
be okay with that, though. Like,
Oh
Paige
yeah,
had to give her blessing for them to do that.
yeah. I'm
So
still surprised they used it though.
yeah, yeah, but this was fine, and it will lead to a PLE match, and it'll be a fine match, and I think the faster we get away from Brie Bella, probably the better. But let her, let her go a little bit while longer, and then Nikki Bella will come back, and she'll get jealous, and she'll like have a singles match with Paige or some
Yep.
nonsense. Like, that's probably where this will go. Um, So next we had Iyo Sky defeating Sol Ruca via pinfall with the crucifix pin. Sky ultimately turned away Ruca's effort after avoiding the soul snatcher, turning it into a winning pin, which was fantastic. After this match, Sky praised her backstage. Becky Lynch got into Sol Ruca's face, saying ultimately the lights are too bright for you, and you're supposed to be the next big thing, but you're clearly not. Blah 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 blah. Um, I think you're right when you say that Sol's probably going to be the next challenger for Becky or Io. Like, they could probably have all three of these women. kind of competing for Becky for a while, which I'm okay with. Becky moving on to other people who aren't AJ Lee. And ultimately getting the title either on Iyo or on Sol Ruca. I think it's probably too soon for Sol Ruca. I think Iyo should probably be the one to take the IC title off of off of Becky for a little while, and then you kind of have to work Sol Ruca into it a little bit and kind of like actually give her a story where she just doesn't come in and dominate right away, but she like looks amazing all of the time and kind of needs to polish herself up a little bit and turn her into like a real big time star that the crowd kind of organically gets behind. I would certainly be okay with them doing all of those things. I don't trust WWE to book that the way I want it to, but I think Iyo should probably be the one to beat Becky, is where I'm going with this. Even though this match was awesome, I think Sol Ruca has all the tools. I think she needs a little bit more polish, but she definitely has all of the in-ring tools.
I think you could make an argument for both of them being good choices to take the belt off Becky. With them running the storyline of Io Janetti and Becky, I think that's perfect way to have that be proven wrong. But then, of course, with Becky also saying it's too bright for Soul, that makes sense. Honestly, I think it's going to be Soul just because of the way that it seems that WWE is trying to push her already. Because they're making a real big deal out of her already. I mean, I've going over all her accolades and everything before even coming up and all that. And the fact that she looks like a star, the fact that she's so good in the ring for being only a wrestler for 4 years, I really think that she is being prepped for a big title win. And I'd be okay with that. I think I agree with you, though, that I'd rather have Io first. But then, how do you go from Io to Soul? You know what I mean? With,
Have them have
well,
another have they have another match.
yeah, face versus face matches are weird, though. You know what I mean?
Did a great
And
job with Rhea and Io at Evolution. You could do Soul and Io at Evolution too.
yeah,
Great.
and I think the way they ended this particular match was very good. It showed the savviness of Io as a veteran to avoid the Soul Snatcher and take advantage of that with the
Yeah.
crucifix pin. I think that was a very good storytelling wise to keep Soul looking strong.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly I'm glad that Ruka's finally up on the main roster. I mean, I think she deserves it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm 1,000% with you on that. I think that that's absolutely there's nothing else for her to do in NXT
No.
anymore. So I think that that's completely fine. So yeah.
Honestly, had she not gotten injured the couple times she did, I would say she probably would have been up sooner.
Yeah. Or she would have been NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next, we saw Obafemi go announce another Obafemi Open Challenge, but Adam Pearce ultimately was like, "This is going to be canceled because nobody wants to fight you." So he went backstage to bring a non-ready Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo to the ring to just kind of completely destroy them in the ring and just be like, "Look, you got to find people for me to fight." This whole thing was ridiculous. I mean, I'm gonna let you take this one because I said last week that this whole thing kind of with like him doing this to Otis was kind of like whatever, and now this again kind of makes it whatever. I mean, it was funny, but at the same time, I'm if they keep doing this, I'm gonna start not taking Otis very seriously. So I think it's a
So
very delicate line. I think they're starting to go to, and they need to get away from that quickly.
so it was ridiculous, but it was ridiculous in the best way possible for this one. And I don't think Angel and Berto will ever make the trip over to Raw ever again after
Mhm.
how this went down. I mean, they were looking for opportunities. They got one, but didn't even get out of their street clothes. My thing here is I like the idea of this story that Adam Pierce is going to tell of we need to cancel your open challenge because nobody literally wants to fight you. And I'm very curious to see where they go with that. You know what I mean? Like to actually turn that into a storyline thing is not something you would normally see WWE do. Normally it would just be like, oh, here's enhancement talent every week, like they did with Ryback back in the day. Oh, you go from beating up one guy to beating up two guys to beating up three guys. It's like that's your prototypical WWE monster storytelling. So for them to acknowledge the fact that the locker room is terrified of Obafemi, I think is a very interesting direction to take this. But I don't know where you go with that.
That's what I'm kind of struggling with too. He needs
My
to eventually get into like a real thing. I feel like it's going to be somebody like Sheamus.
I'd be okay with that. And have a returning Sheamus come out and have that lead into like have him come out, don't have him have a match, but have them just brawl for a little while. I'd be 100% okay with. My other thought is that they can't find anybody for Oba, and that's when like King of the Ring or whatever gets announced, and Oba's like, you know what? If I can't find anybody who will voluntarily come to face me, I'm entering the King of the Ring, so people have to face me. And
Yeah.
something along those lines. And that's how you get like your Oba winning King of the Ring.
And as much as I don't want, and even if you don't want to have Oba win King of the Ring, you could have like I said before, I do not want to see Oba lose like at all. But if you have like somebody come out and cost him, hell, maybe even like when Drew returns, Drew comes out and costs Oba like the finals or something like that. And then you pivot into a program with Oba and Drew, and then you have Oba just destroy Drew. Like I would be okay with that kind of thing. That would be fun for me. Something like that. I don't want to see Oba lose. I'm not ready for I think, like I said, Oba should go on an undefeated streak, but I know how WWE works and that's not going to happen. So I would be okay with that.
Yeah. I
If
think
if
there's
you're if you're not ready to put the title on him.
right. I think there's a lot of possible routes that WWE can go with this where they can avoid screwing it up, but there's also a lot of missteps that they could take where they could royally mess this up. And I think that they really have something special in Obafemi, and I don't want them to mess it up.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. So last we saw a match for the AAA Mega Championship, which saw Dominic Mysterio retain against the original El Grande Americano via pinfall after a frog splash, which saw a ton of interference from all of the goon squads. El Grande Kaiser came out and he attempted to kind of interfere in the match, getting his trying to get his mask ripped off there on the outside. And this was a fine match. We've said before, Dom is starting to, has been coming into his own for a while. And I'm so glad he's not the Intercontinental Champion anymore. But I think this AAA Mega Championship is perfect for him. And the whole thing was fine. It was harmless. Like I got to imagine it's going to lead to some kind of 3 versus 3 with the Gable and the Creeds versus the Kaiser and the Americano gang. So I'm okay with all of these things. So it's fine for a TV Raw match.
So, interesting tidbit, but by having the AAA title defended on Raw, it's the first time that there's been a title defended on both AEW TV, I'm sorry, WCW TV, and WWE, which I think is kind of cool because they had, I believe it was Kenny Omega versus Hijo del Vikingo in AEW at one point. Sorry, WCW, and now obviously last night, I part of me thought that Master Gable Americano might win, considering that Kaiser Americano has a title shot for the AAA title at some point, and if Gable would have won, they could have done the mask versus mask match, have been for the title too, which I think would have been really cool for AAA. But obviously, it looks like I don't know if they're going to have Gable interfere and cost Kaiser his AAA title match, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the Kaiser Americano come out on top in that feud and win the title off of Dom.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
With the way they love him down there.
Yeah. No, and it was a fine match. And I think you're right. I think like the Gable Americana will probably lose. And I think
Yeah.
that that's okay. He can go back to being regular Chad Gable eventually. And I think that that would be fine.
I think that makes the most sense because they really didn't have anything that Ludwig Kaiser was really doing at the moment. And with how popular he is and how well he's embraced the Americano role down in Mexico, I think that's something that they need to, much like what we are saying with Danhausen, there's certain points where you need to take advantage of things while they're hot. And the Kaiser Americano is one of those. Take advantage of while it's extremely hot.
Yeah. No, I'm completely with you on that. So that was Monday Night Raw. What did you think of the show? What is your final rating for the show, and where do we go from here?
I enjoyed it. I think that we continue as usual, Raw being a Oscar worthy picture versus SmackDown being a raspberry worthy picture. And I give this one 3.5, maybe a 4, or if we go tease rating system, we'll give it a B plus. It was good for a TV show, and I really enjoy what we're seeing out of Jacob Fatu. I love the unhingedness of him. I love the crowd reaction to him, and I think they are finally booking a title contender for Roman correctly. The only thing that I'm not real sure on is who's the heel and who's the face in this feud. I don't know that there is one, and I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Raw was good. I mean, I love that I get wrestling on my wrestling show, and there was a lot of wrestling on my wrestling show tip this week, which was good. I think you got a lot of up and coming stars that you're presenting like up and coming stars in Sol Ruca, Obafemi, Bron Breakker, Javon Evans. A lot of these guys who are the future of the company are, on the show. They're wrestling every week, and they look good. They all look good. And of course, you do have some of your veterans out there as well, also, you know, flying the flag. Iyo Sky and Seth Rollins, the Street Profits. Joe Hendry got an opportunity to wrestle. So like everything, everything is flying right for the future on the red brand. So I think that that's a good thing. So with that, my final rating for the show is a Sayonara Empress of Tomorrow out of 5.
See, now you made me sad.
So that is our show, guys. Thank you so much as always for joining us. Let us know what you guys think of Monday Night Raw in the comments down below. Did you think that this episode knocked it out of the park? We'd love to hear from you guys. As always, smash that like, subscribe button as we do appreciate all of the support that you guys give us. We do read and respond to every comment that you guys add to our videos. And with that, I have been Mike, joined by Mr. Sean. Have yourself a fantastic evening and take care.